what was a problem was it was that, oh, he's still suspended. And then Jaylen Brown, who is vice president along with Kyrie of the Players Union, says on Twitter, this is very alarming or whatever. And it's like those 6 things that we just listed, not that big a deal given everything that happened.
Right.
And then and I will give Jaylen Brown this. He's a good speaker. So in his press conference, he talks about it and how it could have ramifications in the CBA negotiation in the offseason, the collective bargaining agreement. And man, I think the players, that's a bad look, especially since Jaylen should have just not touched it, especially because he was already connected to Kanye West. You know, I know a lot. I know messy. I have some friends who are Celtics fans. They're like, shut up, stay out of this. You know, CJ McCollum is the president of the Players Association, and he already said his piece. Jaylen didn't need to say anything, but now he's closely connected to the 2 like big time in the news anti-Semitic players or people. Right. Kanye is not a player, but not a good look, and that's very concerning for Boston. But more so, there seems to be a lack of self-awareness, and if I had to bet on there being a lockout before the beginning of next season, I would bet on it happening because, I mean, the player empowerment thing I was all for, but it's definitely gotten out of hand. The owners were already pissed off. You know, like you have 4 years left in your contract. You're demanding a trade and holding us hostage and blah, 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 blah. Huge concern already. So they were already not happy with how things were going and all ready to go to war. And now this sort of thing with Kyrie, given, I mean, what he did was clearly, you know, not good for the team. It was detrimental to the team. That's right there in the CBA, and the terms set forth were very reasonable. It wasn't anything crazy. I think the players are going to get a wake-up call in this next CBA, and I hope it doesn't happen. But if there's a lockout, I will not be one bit surprised. And I honestly think, I mean, they need to get Kyrie off of that in the first place, and Jaylen, if he keeps going on this route, they need to get him off of that too.
Yeah, you know? I mean, the fact that those, like you said, those people are in leadership roles within your organization, or you know, your the players union, that's not a good look. You know, like you said, it's fine for people to have thoughts and feel a certain way about, oh, well, I don't think Kyrie's being treated fairly. But the fact that you're putting things out there like that and not condemning the things he did, but trying to stick up for him instead, it's not good.
No. And yeah, I mean, we're going to see what happens. I just think so much of what happens in sports, player versus, you know, players union versus league, when those conflicts happen during negotiations, it becomes about public perception. And so you're having these guys who are kind of making fools of themselves front and center, and that's not what you want, because honestly, most of the time, I feel like the general American public tends to side with the owners, which I don't. In almost all those, baseball, football, I'm usually on the players' side fully. This time around, I'm kind of like, owners kind of have a point, you know? And I mean, that's a bad sign. I'm usually the union players guy, and I'm kind of like, I might be split on this one. That's a very, very bad sign for public perception for the players coming up. And I'm sure those NBA owners are smart. They're very aware of this. And I think they understand that this is only helping to give them leverage. Right. When that happens. So really, I understand, like, CJ McCollum was pretty straightforward with, like, it's a little concerning, blah, blah, blah. He didn't say anything too outrageous. I understand that. He's, you know, took a better approach to it. But we'll see, and I hope it doesn't lead to a lockout, but I will not be one bit surprised if it does.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. There's been lockouts for far less, so right? I mean, in the past. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully they can pull it together and not lose games and not have it be a big issue, but we'll have to see.